Joining us now for World Brief and the review of some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Abuja returning. She just came back. Adefemi Akinsoya. Good morning. Welcome back from Abuja.
Thank you, Dr. Reuben. Good morning.
Abuja bringer.
Yes,
Joy
thank
bringer.
you. Honestly, you're most welcome.
For your gifts, always thoughtful. Thank you so much,
Oh, you guys are most welcome. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
And good morning to your viewers. Let me tell you what is happening around the world. Now, the Trump administration is proposing that visitors from dozens of visa waiver countries hand over 5 years of their social media activity before being allowed into the United States. Now, the rule would affect citizens of more than 40 nations in the visa waiver program, including the United Kingdom, Australia, Germany, France, Japan, and even South Korea, as well as many others that currently only need an ESTA approval for short stays of up to 90 days. Now, US Customs and Border Protection say the changes are meant to enforce President Donald Trump's January 2025 executive order, which is called Protecting the United States from Foreign Terrorists and Other National Security and Public Safety Threats. Now, going forward, a 60-day public comment period has been opened, after which the rule could be revised or implemented early in 2026. So we'll have to see. Now, could further military intervention be imminent in Venezuela? Well, the South American country has accused the United States of piracy. That's after an oil tanker was seized off the coast of the South American country. Now, in this video footage released by Pam Bondi, who is, of course, the US Attorney General, we can see that this operation took place in broad daylight. It was a joint effort by the FBI, Homeland Security, the US Coast Guard, and as well as the US Department of Defense. Now, oil prices did modestly rise off the back of this move, and we also see that the United States believe that the tanker was moving sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran to China in order to fund narco-terrorism. That's the official US line. And when asked about it, US President Donald Trump said that the capture was one of the largest that they've ever taken, or rather the largest that they've taken, and he says that America is keeping the oil. Let's take a listen to what the US President had to say.
Just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually.
What happens to the oil on that ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
Where does it go? What port does it go to?
Well, you have to follow the tanker. You're a good newsman, just follow the tanker.
Do you know where it was going? Was it going to China?
Get a helicopter and follow the tanker.
Very, very interesting things there. Now, Maduro himself, the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, says that the United States is trying to overthrow him, take over his country and take control of Venezuela's oil. In a rally organized by his ruling party in the capital, Caracas, he did say that Venezuela would break the teeth of the North American empire if necessary. In the past 4 months alone, the United States has bombed 23 boats in 22 airstrikes, killing 87 people, nearly 90 people. So I think the official number is 87 at this point. So very, very strong accusations there. Now, staying within Venezuela, meanwhile, the Venezuelan opposition leader, Marina Corina Machado, has made her first public appearance in Oslo after being in hiding for 11 months. Now, she appeared on the balcony in the Norwegian capital in the middle of the night. It's the first time she has been seen in public since January of this year. Now, she made the covert journey despite a travel ban and a threat from the Venezuelan government that said that she would be labeled a fugitive if she made the trip to accept her Nobel Peace Prize. She's obviously done that, but unfortunately she got there too late for the ceremony itself, because earlier on Wednesday, her daughter, Ana Corina Sosa, accepted the Nobel Peace Prize on her mother's behalf. The Nobel Institute awarded Machado the prize this year for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy in Venezuela. Well, staying in South America, And there's been quite a ruckus in Brazil's parliament. That's as federal deputy Glauber Braga was forcibly removed by congressional police after he seized the speaker's chair in the Chamber of Deputies. He was protesting a bill that would cut former President Jair Bolsonaro's 27-year prison term for a coup plot. Now, in this issue, we're seeing that Braga occupied the President Hugo Motta's seat and denounced the legislation as an offensive that would grant amnesty to coup plotters. Police intervened, they dragged him out, and journalists were expelled while the live broadcast was cut. However, the turmoil did give way to a vote earlier in the week, and the lower house did approve the bill by 291 votes to 148. So if the Senate ratifies it, Bolsonaro's sentence could shrink to roughly 2 years and 4 months, and over 100 of his supporters could receive parole. Huge news happening over there in Brazil. Let's take a look now at our national newspapers. As ever, we begin with the front page of This Day. Let's take a look at what This Day is showing us today. I know this was very, very, very controversial, but yes, let's take a look at our newspapers. As ever, we're leading with This Day. This Day does lead with reports that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered the withdrawal of police officers from VIP and ministerial duties. He is insisting that they focus on protecting vulnerable Nigerians, while the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps will take over VIP security. He says that ministers who need protection must seek IGP clearance first. That's clearance from the Inspector General of Police. Also on the front page of This Day, we are seeing reports that the PDP national chairman, Tanimu Kaburu Turaki, is reaffirming the party's mission to reclaim Ekiti governorship. Meanwhile, we also see that President Tinubu has met with the APC Osun governorship aspirants ahead of the primary on the 13th of December, urging unity and support for the consensus candidate. Let's take a look at another paper. Let's take a look at the Vanguard. What do we have? Lovely. Okay, so the Vanguard is reporting that the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Ministry is negotiating with Burkina Faso after the country seized a Nigerian Air Force C-130 plane and also took into detention 11 soldiers that landed there due to a technical issue. There have been conflicting reports over whether or not the aircraft and the crew have been released. There have been back and forth. The Vanguard is one of the many publications that says that they have not yet been released, but as I said, there have been conflicting reports as yet. Now, moving on to the leadership paper this morning, let's take a look at what the leadership has to say. So, in terms of the leadership, I think we're looking at aviation, yes. So the aviation minister, Festus Keyamo, this is him right up here. He met with the Senate. The Senate had summoned him and he responded to the Senate over these soaring airfares. And he says that the government cannot fix prices. This is a fully deregulated sector, he says. But he did cite the fact that foreign exchange costs and aircraft leases are key drivers of the high fares that we're seeing. But he did say that recent reforms and cheaper dry leases, in terms of deals for dry leases, will boost competition and help lower ticket prices soon. So you can imagine that many Nigerians are hoping that that soon really, really means soon. Let's take a look at another paper today. Okay, so the Guardian is also looking at how and why these tickets are so expensive. 54 taxes, charges account for 35% of aircrafts. This is what is happening. But one story that we wanted to focus on is Ekiti on the Guardian. So the Ekiti State Governor, Biodun Oyebanji, has said that the state has spent 49.7 billion naira on the Ekiti Agro-Allied International Cargo Airport. 14 billion naira of that was spent under former Governor Fayemi, and over 34 billion was added by his administration. So the governor is essentially saying that this airport is a collective legacy, and he's welcomed its first commercial flight. So huge congratulations to them. Moving on to the New Telegraph this morning. Yes, the New Telegraph reports again that President Tinubu has set up a panel to address this 4 trillion naira owed to the federal government contractors. I know you were talking about many of these stories in the early part of the show. The president is expressing his displeasure over the backlog, and he has directed a committee is made up of key ministers and top officials in order to draw up a plan to clear up those debts as soon as possible. Shall we take a look at another paper? Let's look at the Independent of the United Kingdom. Okay, very interesting stuff here. So just on the bottom here, you've got the Independent saying that essentially, they have released a report, they revealed a report that Britain, the United Kingdom, is the only G20 nation to strip people's citizenship en masse in what is being called a racist two-tier citizenship system. And then finally, bringing us back to the World Brief stories, but the Metro is taking a look at this issue. So the football fans traveling to the United States for the World Cup next summer could be turned away at the border if they posted any anti-Trump memes in the last 5 years. This is under the president's new entry rules, which we discussed in the World Brief. So football fans, if you know you want to go to America for the World Cup, might want to take a tidy of your social media if you want to be let in. That's what they say.
It shows what America has become. It's a clear dictatorship. But you see, the thing about eras like this, it will pass. See, it's so shocking now that under Trump, things America used to do covertly. I mean, look at going to steal oil from Venezuela. That's clear stealing.
Off the coast of Venezuela.
Off the coast of Venezuela, you went there, you stole. Things America used to partner, you know, with local groups and terrorist groups to do. Yes. Trump does it overtly and, you know, like, there's no holds barred. But my fear, and coming to Machado, is the fact that if Machado finally even gets there, she's American-leaning, it's just going to perpetuate this America hegemony, and it goes on and on again. My second point I would like to talk about today is, you see, I was talking about trust of this government. That's why trust is an all-time low. Yesterday, this government issued a statement saying that, there's nothing wrong with our troops that were detained in Bobo Dioulasse. They were treated very well. Apparently, talking to someone from the federal ministry shows that thing turns out to be a lie. Now they are negotiating with the Burkina Bay authority. These were the same people that said nothing happened. So, and that's why when people are asking about, was there a note verbal or was there a note verbal about Burkina Faso? You see, these things just erodes trust. How do I feel when I analyzed this issue yesterday and I said, oh no, I will take my own Nigerian sovereign state over Burkina Faso. And just a day after, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said, they are negotiating, they're trying to get them out. They were actually, taken forcefully and all of that. And it turns out that an initial message from my own government turned out not to be true. And you want me to trust my government. I trust Nigeria, but government should do better. Be clear. Tell people the truth.
Okay, I think why that story is important is because we're on air when the news broke around the report released by the Nigerian Air Force and was signed. That was a signed statement. And unfortunately, when we begin to hear stories like this around, we're now negotiating, there's something not quite right. So I do expect another report, an official position, so that Nigerians can, like you said, just this trust deficit, because now, should we take statements signed by the authorities with a pinch of salt when that should be the final bus stop? If they've spoken, it means we take that. And I did say, and I continue to maintain, that I'll take on the Air Force's position because they're supposed to be the ones in the fray. But we should be able to trust whatever it is that they have released to us as the truth and nothing but the truth without mincing words. This is contradictory. Now, very quickly on the social media move, or asking for 5 years of your social media records by the United States. It's still under consideration. Yes. There'll be 90 days, February, up until February, for public commentary to see whether or not they'll go forward with it. But it moves away from where currently you have what's called the ESTA program, electronic system for travel authorization. It means that some select countries who have good diplomatic relationships with the United States can just go online to apply for a 90-day temporary stay, less than 90-day temporary stay in the United States of America. Countries like the UK, New Zealand, Israel, Qatar are part of this scheme. Now, under this new policy, what it means is that you will now have to provide your social media account. In the past, there was a place for you providing your social media account details, but it was optional. Right now, it will be mandatory. Also, you cannot, if you say you don't have a social media platform, then unfortunately it will be suspicious, unlike before when it wouldn't be taken very seriously. So a few things around the change in America's immigration policy.
Okay, about visa restrictions in the U.S. You know that recently 2 National Guard officers were shot by Afghan, refugees, so to speak. And then President Trump said he was going to further restrict access to U.S. visas. In January, he has signed what is called Executive Order 14161. What they are trying to do now is to further enforce that by saying you will give family information everybody in your family. If you have ever taken selfies, you will provide it. You will give social media account for the last 10 years. You will give a telephone number that you have used you will give social media telephone numbers that you have used in the last 5 years. So it's just to restrict, access to the United States. And the president has been saying that since January. Secondly, in Brazil, now the issue of Jair Bolsonaro divides the country right down the middle. And Jair Bolsonaro's party, the Liberal Party, has the majority, the conservative wing, in both the lower house and the upper house. So what happened yesterday is to be expected, and it could happen again with Braga seizing and Bolsonaro being accused of having planned a coup after the 2023 general elections. As for the U.S., Skipper was said to have been an illegal vessel being used to support terrorists. Now, it used to be an Iranian vessel called Adisa. Then it became Skipper. And this time around, it's flying on another country's flag. And then they discovered that, and they went after it. Guyana flag, it is, But the U.S. is putting pressure on Nicolas Maduro, and there is no end to it. 32 boats have been attacked. Over 87 persons have been killed since September. And U.S. General Gerald Ford, the largest aircraft carrier, is in that axis, and it was from there that they launched the attack on this particular vessel, which President Trump is boasting about. We'll see more escalation, unfortunately.
All right, well, thank you so much, Adefemi. See you again tomorrow. Please travel more often, because we always feel the impact of your travels. Our international correspondent, thank you.